Okay, so here we go. Today we're going to learn about absolute values. And here's what absolute values are. They are these lines right here that are these straight up and down vertical lines. And here's what they mean. An absolute value is the distance away from 0. So if I say the absolute value of x is 2, I'm thinking about numbers that are 2 away from 0. So if we just think, we have 1, 2. So one number that would be 2 away from 0 would be 2. And another number that would be away from 0 would be negative 2. So if I think the absolute value of negative 2 would be 2, and the absolute value of 2 would be 2. Okay. So an absolute value, what it does, it tells you the distance away from 0. So again, you're just counting how far something is away from 0. So if you have a number, if it's negative 2, it becomes positive. If it was already positive 2, it stays positive 2, because distances can't be negative. Let's see how we can use this to solve a couple problems. So with anything, like anything that is put in here, we would have, it would come out to be positive, because the distance is, a distance would be positive. So let's see this kind of thing. Let's say I took this absolute value. Now this absolute value has to become something that is 10 units away from 0. So when I'm thinking about the numbers that are 10 units away from 0, they would be 10 and negative. So the numbers that would make that work would be 10 and negative 10. So let's see, let's solve this equation. So if I was going to solve this equation, then scroll down a bit, I would want to make two equations. So I'm going to make an equation for the positive number that I could get, which would be positive 10, and the negative number that I could get, which would be negative 10. So x plus 3 equals 10, and x plus 3 equals negative 10. I subtract 3, I get x equals 7. Subtract 3, I subtract 3, I get x equals negative 13. And those are my two answers. Let's try one more. Well, we'll try two more. Let's try two more. Okay, so here's my next one. Again, I'm going to do the same thing, because if I think about this, this absolute value could be a positive number or a negative number to be 15 units away from 0. So I could have positive 15 or negative 15. So let's make two equations, one side being the positive side and the other side being the negative side. So 2x minus 3 is equal to 15, and 2x minus 3 is equal to negative 15. So here's my positive side, here's my negative side. Add 3, get 2x is equal to 18. Divide by 2, x would give me 9. So there's one of my answers. I'll do the same thing to the other side. I'll add 3. I'll get 2x is equal to negative 12. Divide by 2, and get x is equal to negative 6. So again, for these types of problems, you're always going to have two answers. One answer will be the positive of this, and one answer will be the negative of this. Okay, here's my last example. Now you notice this time my absolute value is surrounded by more stuff. So before I can think about what my absolute value could be, I need to get rid of things. So the first thing I need to do is get rid of this number and get rid of this number. Notice I'm not going to split apart the 10 yet. Okay, so I'm not going to split apart the 10 yet. I'm going to get rid of those two numbers. So I'm going to get rid of the 3 by subtracting 3. And have 2. X minus 2 is equal to 7. Then I'm going to divide by 2. We scroll down a bit, and I will get absolute value of x minus 2 is equal to 3.5. And now I'm going to go, okay, I have an absolute value all by itself, and this absolute value can be two things. It could be 3.5 and negative 3.5. So let's write our new equation with our positive and negative side and try to solve. So x minus 2 equals 3.5 and x minus 2 equals negative 3.5. I add 2. And I get x equals 5.5 and x equals negative 1.5. That's my final answer. Try some of these problems on your homework. So again, make sure on these problems you're splitting it into its two sides, it's positive and negative, and solving both sides.